I started painting when I was about 8 years old. My parents were taking college classes at night, and some of their required courses were art, so they had a paint box with paint, and when they were done, I saw the paint box and I said, can you teach me how to paint with oil paint? So they taught me, and the paint box I have now is the same paint box that I used when I was 8.
Having expressed herself through various forms of art, including dance, mask making, and writing, artist Robyn Bellospirito still favors painting with oils.
As far as my style, I don't really know how to describe it. Some people say it's surreal, some people say fantasy. I guess some of them could fit into that category. I don't know how to describe it. It's a form of art that just comes from me. My current work expresses a lot of my spirituality, which is kind of earth-based, and it's also very personal. But in a way, it's kind of like my older work, a lot of it figurative. If I put figures in my work, they tend to be ghostly. They tend to be kind of universal, where you can see a face, you can see an image. It's not too distinct. There's no clothing to define any particular culture. But I like to have that universality in my images, and I think my newer work is going back to that. When I start painting, I start with a wash on the canvas, and before I know it, I'm seeing things in the shadows and the lighter parts, and sometimes I'll take a rag and I'll wipe parts off, and then I'll add more, and before I know it, I'm seeing an image, and that means something to me, so I'll bring it out and define it a little bit more. So it's kind of like the stories that my soul wants to tell kind of come out through my art. I don't plan them. I don't know what I'm going to do until the painting actually happens. It sometimes surprises me. I'll look at it and I'll say, wow, where'd that come from? Sometimes I don't really know what they mean right after I do them. Sometimes it takes years for me to understand really what a painting means. Art's always felt very therapeutic for me because it always felt like I can create my own world. I don't paint from life. I don't paint from photographs. The way it works for me, art, is to let something inside of myself come out. And usually the images, once I figure them out, what they mean, they usually tell me some kind of story. They show me what I'm feeling, and they show me something. It feels very powerful to have that process. It's almost like I'm channeling, or something else is coming through me and showing me a picture from my soul that I wouldn't have thought if I used my intellectually, I couldn't have thought of what I actually come up with. It just comes out, or sort of organically. It's a way to speak. It's a different language. It's a form of communication. And sometimes there are things in life that there are no words for. There are things we experience or go through that we might not know how to process or how to put into words if we had to. So painting has done that for me really all of my life. When I sit in front of a canvas, even when I was like 10 years old, first of all, there's like a power there in the fact that I alone can choose my colors. I can say, wow, what is this going to look like? I can put my own brush strokes. It's like my own fingerprints. So there's like an empowerment just involved in just creating a work of art, but then seeing what it has to say to me and what it shows back to me, what it reflects back to me about myself. It feels very therapeutic. It helps me know myself and know what I'm feeling, and it also helps me to get it out, because we all need to express what we feel in some way, and art helps me do that.
For Push Pause in Huntington Station, this is Eric Alfredo.